Whoa, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another animation process video. And as you could see, oh, this is looping. Hold on a second. I'm bringing on animator artist Benny Jordan as I try and fix this from looping. That was a loop. I fixed that. Okay, now it's not looping. What's up, everybody? As you can see, uh, we've got some amazing new stuff that was been done. Uh, Benny Jordan went ahead and he rigged the piano guy. He's actually been working on that for a little bit,
Yeah.
a couple weeks on
Uh,
that one.
Give or take.
And but we're glad to be able to show that off and have that for our starting soon screen. Which is a lot of fun. And then over the weekend, I think it was a weekend, he created the cityscape, as you can see behind us, that we started off with. And he just played around with that. And you guys are going to learn how to do all this too. That's what you're here for. That's what we're here to show you.
Well,
Go ahead,
full
Benny.
disclaimer though, I'm still new to MoHo, and
Right, we are so MoHo is an animation software. Link in the description. It'll take you straight to their website. I think you can download a free trial.
Yeah.
That you can work with you and check it out. We've got comments going on here. We've got the head ninja is in the chat. We've got Ben Tinsley is in the chat.
Hold on, Jason. I don't. A couple things. I don't see the chat, and I'm hearing a little bit of an echo.
I can fix the chat. The echo I can't do anything about.
Okay.
Wait,
hold on a second. Okay, I see the. Okay. You moved the chat. That's why. Okay. Sorry.
No problem. No problem. Let's see. Panda Days was a funny read at Jason Dube. What's up, Head Ninja? Thank you.
How's it going?
Yeah, man. I got all those Panda Day trades out. The digital things are all out. The physical stuff are being printed as we speak. So, but thank you very much. I'm glad you liked it and appreciated that. Let's see what else we got going on in the chat here. Oh, we got Dan's back. Dan Stockwell, what's up, brother? He says, hi, Jason. Welcome back to the show. So I'm kind of taking a back seat today because Benny's going to take over and show you guys how to bring your character concepts that we've all been working on for the last, 5 episodes?
Yeah. Well, we're going to have plenty more episodes.
Oh, I know that. We're just getting started. Oh, wait a minute. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. We're not trying that today. So we're creating the characters in MoHo.
Yeah.
I was telling Benny earlier, some of us drew our characters in Photoshop. Some of us were working in Clip Studio. And so he's going to show us how to bring our characters from that artwork in those software over into MoHo.
Well, what I'm going to be doing, I'm not necessarily going to be bringing layers over, although that is possible. That's not the way that I work at the moment. What I do is I'll bring over the sketch image and use that as a reference and recreate it in MoHo as a vector because the type of animation I'll be doing is point binding. So you'll bind your points to certain bones, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, this creating the character in MoHo is going to take a little bit. So be patient, and it might get to some slow points, but that's the whole. Animating, you gotta have patience.
It's a process. What's up, Itchy? He welcomes us with total excellence. Head Ninja, the digital files ended up on my spam folder, which is why I had trouble locating them. So I'm caught up with Panda Days and Kill Jessica Kill. What a contrast of 2 comics, too, actually. I'm glad you both supported the campaigns and got your books, though, and I hope you enjoyed them. Itchy says, "What's MoHo?"
MoHo
Is
MoHo
like
is
a vector-based animation program like Toon Boom.
is Yeah, well, it's a lot different from Toon Boom. I played around with Toon Boom years ago and then haven't touched it for years. I've just recently been playing with MoHo, trying to learn it. So not only will this show, I guess, be showing you all how to do MoHo, but there are a lot of aspects I'm still learning also. So by no means am I an expert at MoHo. So I may be learning as you're learning.
Right. So you want to tell them what you mostly worked in before?
Before MoHo, I would work in Adobe Character Animator, and that's you work a lot with layers, and it's not a vector based. And I usually don't work vector. I like a raster feel. I like to do sketching and stuff like that. But you can sketch in MoHo, and it's vector and still get your sketchy feel. So this new version of MoHo, which I think they're 14.1 now, is their freehand drawing ability has come a long way. So I really like it. So we'll go with that.
Yeah. So I always known Benny to always kind of shy away from vector in the past. So when he
Yeah,
was
I
telling me
don't.
that he loves working in vector now, I was like, what? What happened?
No. I never said I love working in vector.
Well,
I
you
don't.
said
I
you
don't.
prefer it. You
I
prefer
don't.
it rather than bringing in PNGs. I thought.
Well, working in MoHo, there are a lot of things about vector that I do like, because I'm animating the points, and so as opposed to warping a PNG or a flattened image, when you even though you can do that, you can put in MoHo, you can put a mesh around um a raster image and warp those and animate those points, that way. I haven't done that yet, but I've seen some animations that do that, and it looks pretty good. But I wouldn't rely on that for the whole animation. But working in vector, I can animate a point. Say if I have a head, I can take a point and on the timeline say it's going to start here and start and end here, and at the end I can move the point, and that point of the vector will move and it'll warp the vector. So that's it makes animating puppet animation, which is this style, it makes it a lot easier, even
So
though it is a little time consuming.
so I'm a little bit more of a visual learner. So I'm going to go
Yep.
ahead and put Benny's screen up, and he can start showing us what he means by all this.
Yeah.
So
So right now on my screen, I've got the Welcome to New Perg uh, file open, and we'll just so you can get an idea of. So if I go to Piano Man, you know, this whole image of the Piano Man, this is created with different shapes, all vector, and then these they are. Let me go to say like the head. If I go open up the head, face, so all these points are able to be animated. Everything in MoHo is able to be animated. So if and these points are basically attached to certain bones. Like for the mouth, like if I want the jaw to open, I create a smart bone, and then I can take this bone and I can move it. And this is a saved action. So on the timeline, if when I move this bone down, all the points I've moved to that position so that it saves that. So that is kind of the gist of how this one was done. Every single point is attached to these bones. So let me show another example. This is what I'm currently working on. Today we'll start one from scratch. So as you see, this is my reference image. This is the one that I drew in Clip Studio, and I brought that in to use it as reference. I actually brought it in twice because I have one at a lower opacity under this work. And all this stuff here, that's all the vector shapes I've created over top of this. I just use this smaller one as a color guide. And again, everything here is a vector shape. So if I go into the head, go into my face layer, all these points here,
Wow.
yeah, will be assigned to one of these bones. So and I have done that, and so we can go with like the mustache. Actually, we'll do the mouth, and I can bring this down, and so I can have him talk, and this is basically just opening and closing, right? And I know that it looks a little intense now with like, okay, well, how we get all these shapes to move? We'll get into that. I'm just showing you what we will be getting into. So, and then I have one for the mustache also. So like, because I want to give a little squash and stretch when he talks. There are some easier ways to do it, but this is the way I'm doing it right now. And then expressions with the eyebrows. And then this one I was playing with, the head turn. And it might look three-dimensional, but it's not. It's all just the points moving, and I can see something I need to fix right up here. That. So what I have to do, and I'm actually going to show you right now, just so, because if I don't, it's going to bug me. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my actions, and I'm on the head turn bone. So I go into head turn. So now, here's where I start on the timeline, and here's where I end on the timeline. All right. So the bone's down. I'm at the end of my timeline where I want it to end, and so I'm just going to go in here. I want to zoom in here and see this here. This point here, I don't want that there. All I got to do is move that down, and done. So now I go back into my main timeline. And then I can come back onto my bone layer, which I'll explain later. And there, that's fixed.
Itchy says, "What the heck? That head turn is so crazy. Honestly, it looks like a 3D model."
Right? And to be honest, this is actually my first head turn in MoHo, so I was pretty pleased. And well, I don't want to get into how we did it because we will be doing
yeah. It's you're jumping ahead a little bit for some of
yeah.
us.
So that's the preview of some of the things we're going to be doing. So right now
I do have a question for you, real quick.
Okay.
Itchy says, "I looked up the website. Are you using Debut 14 or Pro 14?
I am using Pro, and to be honest, I don't know the difference. I haven't looked into the difference.
Okay.
But I always get the best one. I mean, with my Clip Studio Paint, I got Clip Studio Paint EX as opposed to, I think, Pro. But and the EX in Clip Studio Paint allows me for more frames on animation. Sorry, junk call. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to start a new file. New file. This is our basically. I mean, this whole thing is our workspace. This is just where my camera is, right? But we're going to work in there. And so we're going to go ahead and open up. We're going to import. Go to import image. And I am going to, let me find my, where are you, Hudson? Hudson Grimes. I just saved you, didn't I? Okay. Well, there you are. File. Save as. I did, but not as PNG. Save. Oh, yes. 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 Okay. So this is my raster image. Although it's, got all these layers down here. But we're not using the layers. I just want the PNG image. So,
okay, so you opened up the MoHo program and then you hit new?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then new and then import. Let me do it again for you, Jason.
Thank you.
So actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Okay. What we're going to do, I'm going to save. We're going to open it up from the beginning. Okay. close out all my windows, and you see my nice LCAR screen.
I love it.
All right, so come down here, hit my MoHo. MoHo Animation Software Pro 14.
It just says, "How did you hear about MoHo?" And is it familiar with other animation programs you used before?
Well, it's not familiar. I mean, the animation programs I've used before, like I said, I mean, other than doing frame by frame animation, because I was trained traditionally flipping pages. Um, but I mean, for work I started using Cartoon Animator, and that's a puppet animation software. And I really didn't like that, and so we switched to Adobe Character Animator, which was good because it came in the Adobe Suite. And that was great because it has somewhat of a motion capture. So I don't, if I wanted the character to look like he was walking and have a sway, I just have my camera on me and I'm swaying. That's a nice shortcut. But the benefits of MoHo far outweigh uh, anything I could do with Character Animator. So, anyways, when you open up MoHo, they have their basic character that comes up, and I'll go ahead and play this. And that's it. Okay, I didn't do this animation. This is something they have. All right.
It was like their
Right.
how you can do it or
Right.
preview or
So
something.
go to File, go to New.
Thank you.
I've already got my presets in here. I usually work at 4K, which I end up apparently having to bring it down to 1080p for Jason.
Yeah, a lot of things don't like this 4K thing you did.
So, all right. So now I'm going to bring in my PNG of Hudson Grimes. So I'm going to go File, Import, and go to Import Image. And where are you? There you are. Open. All right. So he's at about the size I want him. And I'm going to duplicate this. Bring it over. Shrink you down. And this smaller duplication is for color reference. Because on this one, I'm going to bring down the opacity. Just about like that. There are other ways you can do this. You can bring in a tracing image, and it puts it here at a lower opacity, but you can't move it around. So that's why I import it in as a separate image. All right. So let's see if I can do this while talking. What do we got? How did you hear? Oh, how did I hear about MoHo? Oh, through a coworker. Yeah, just through a coworker. So with MoHo, I can't draw on this part right here. So I need to create a new vector layer. And I usually start with the head. I keep my head and my body groups separate. So I'm going to call this face BG background. And I'm going to put this in a group, which is going to be head. All right. And so I'm going to get back onto my vector layer. And I am going to, actually for this, I'm just going to create a shape. All right. Because his head is quite rectangular. So basically here. All right. So now this shape, I want to switch the color. So I'm going to go to Style, and I'm going to bring that down. And I'm going to bring my point to, I think, 6. Bring it to 5. Okay, so that's what we have right now.
So you created a shape.
I created a shape. That's it. And I switched the color. Now this here is your select shape tool, right? And you select it, and then I can adjust that shape. Now, keep in mind, I am still learning MoHo, but I know enough to do that beginning animation. So that's basically what we're going off. So I might be learning something. I might not be as familiar with some of these tools, but I will go over them. And if you have any questions and I can answer it, I will answer it. If not, I will say, I do not know at this point. So, as with the other characters, I wanted this see the line quality. I mean, the line here is almost sketchy. So I'm gonna select my shape again, and then over here I'm gonna choose a brush, and I believe it was this. No, let's see here. Was it? It was this brush here, I believe, or was it
They
this?
don't look. They look like clouds.
Yeah. Well, that's the brush shape.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think it's. Let's just go with. Let's just go with this one. That
Oh,
might
I
be
see. So it gives you more of a
yeah.
pencil-y kind of look to it.
Right. Okay. And the neat thing is, so I'm gonna do this real quick. Let's see
Okay,
if
so the
it'll.
whole shape turns into a pencil-y shape. I mean,
Yeah.
pencil-y brush. Gotcha.
Yeah. So let me see if. Well, it's not gonna do it yet. Okay. So, anyways, and now I'm gonna bring down the opacity here, and I get to this just by double clicking on my layer. All right, and this as we go as I use this, I'll explain what all these other things are when we get to it. But I'm just gonna bring down the opacity so that I can see where my line work is. Right. Okay. All right. So now,
How far did you bring it the opacity down to?
oh, I don't know, just enough for me to see through it. 49, 50%. Okay. And then, so now I'm just gonna move this around, move these points around a little bit. And you might think, okay, well, there's not enough points. You're correct.
Yeah,
There
that's what I
are
was gonna say.
points. Okay, but we're going to go with it because we can add points. All right. So right now, what I want to do is I'm going to select all those points, and I'm going to press Control C, which is for curves. Actually, Control C, Control A, Control C. That should give me my okay, curves. Here we go. And oops, where are you? Is that curves? Curvatures. Okay. And I'm just going to do this
Whoa, how'd you do that?
with this tool. Is the curve tool. C. I was pressing Control C. But
Control
it's
C.
C. No, it's just C.
And then it gives
Just
you
C.
your Bezier point things.
Yeah, it gives me a Bezier points. Now, here I'm moving each one individually just by holding Alt and then moving them. If I don't hold Alt, it'll move them both. Okay. So,
Ah,
yep. So right
this
here,
is already so much easier than I thought it was going to be.
right here, I see I'm gonna have a little break here, so it dips in. I want a hard break, and I can't get that with just 2 points. So I'm gonna add a point. I'm gonna use the Add Point tool, which is this here, and the shortcut for it is A for add. Okay, go back to C.
Control A,
Nope, just A.
you just
Just
hit A and it'll add a point.
yep. No,
As
no,
long as
it won't add a point when you hit A. It'll switch to your add point tool.
oh,
Yeah. Okay, so right now I just want to get the basic head shape. Let's go ahead and round off the head anyway here. All right, let's do that. And I think that's okay for now. I think that's okay. I really do. Let's get that. Okay. So there we have. That's his head shape. All right. And what we're going to do, we're going to build up shapes onto this layer, onto the layer, as opposed to creating a new layer and drawing the hair. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create the ear. All right. And for this one, I could easily, because the ear is circular, I could easily make a circle and then adjust it and whatnot. But I'm going to show the freehand tool, which is F, and basically I'm still on that layer. It's still going to create a new shape. So I'm going to do this, and it's a little too round for me because I don't like it so symmetrical. So see, actually, let me delete that. I'm going to delete this whole thing. Delete, because I need to go into freehand, and it didn't fill it because I don't have my autofill on. Now I'm going to select this up here called multi-stroke fill. And that means I can make several different strokes and it'll still fill what's enclosed. If I don't, I make a stroke. So if I make a stroke, let me do this for a second. It's going to fill that, right?
Okay.
If I hit multi-stroke, I can still come through and it's going to fill.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to explain. I don't get it completely.
The visuals help. That helps when you do it visually like that.
All right, so I got multi-stroke on. Build the ear. Boop. There.
That is so much easier.
Yeah. And then I'm going to turn multi-stroke off, turn autofill off because all I want is a stroke.
And then using this freehand tool like this, I mean, you're basically drawing freehand, which is cool. And now everything that you've just drawn is vector.
Yes. Yeah. And it does have pen pressure. Though it does adjust a little bit. That all depends on your settings. So I'm going to come through here. And so for animation purposes, it's easier to the fewer points you have, the easier it is to animate because it's going to take less time. Right? The fewer points I have to bind to bones. So I'm going to take out some of these points. I'm going to delete that. I just select it and delete it. And let's see here. I don't think I need that one. So let's do that. Bring this down here. Hit C. There. And let's give him a little curl on that earlobe right there. All right. Then how many points do I have on this one here? Too many points on this. So hit T for my transform point tool. Okay, I'm gonna delete that and delete that. I think we only need 3. And then hit C again for a curvature tool. And I think that's good. Now,
okay, so it's a multi-process.
Yeah.
You can draw it in, but then they give you a lot of extra points. So then you got to go back in with the transform tool to try and take out as many points as you can.
Right. Now the benefit, I mean, the plus side to creating it with shapes is that you know how many points you're getting. If you're creating a circle shape, you're getting 4 points, and you can adjust from there. If you're drawing with the freehand tool, it's going to lay in a certain amount of points, and then you have to go in and adjust. But it's you do have a bit of. I mean, there is quite a bit of control though. But I like to reduce the amount of points that I have because of animation purposes. Now, here's the thing I do like is I can hit W, right? And it brings this tool here. It looks like a little half pipe, like a little skating half pipe, skateboarding half pipe. That's your line width. So I can go to this point and bring that down, and I can go to this point and bring this down. Now, if you see how the line jitters a little bit when I adjust it. This line can when I move the character, it'll have this boil. It's called line boil, and it'll give the effect that you actually drew every single frame, because when you do frame by frame animation and you're drawing each frame, your lines aren't going to be exactly the same. So I think I'm going to do that.
What is this tool called?
What I'm doing now?
Yeah.
It's the line width tool, and it's just W. Right? And I'm just going through and giving it some line variation. And I'll probably do that with the head here also. So let's see. That's going to be all covered with the hair. Let's see. Because I'll put that a little thinner, a little thicker down here. And I don't like that curve right there. See? Yep. Bring that up there. Okay. Now, if I turn this off, well, I don't need to turn it off. You know, look here. He's got a little chin. All right. So we're going to do that chin right now. And I think we'll just draw it in. It's freehand tool. There. Nope. You know why? Because we need the
multi whatever.
Mhm. And the reason I didn't do this as just part of this shape is because I know I'm going to want to do a slight head turn on him at some point. And so with this chin as a separate shape, I can take that chin and animate it. So if he does a turn, I can take that chin and move it over separately. So you got to do a little, think ahead a little bit. And there. All right.
Gorgeous.
Let's go in and adjust. Okay. There. Want it a little wider to see. There. There. And then T. I'm going to bring these up a little bit because I am going to use my width tool and bring those down. Voila. So there's his chin. All right.
So this might be a dumb question. When you use the line width tool, you have to click on the end point of where you in that.
Any point. Any point. See, look, I can do this one.
Oh.
And even with, looks like he's got a goatee now, which
So
is good because I might use that later on something.
and how are you making increasing and decreasing? Is
Okay,
there a
so I'm like holding on the point and just
uh-huh.
move.
And then you just move. Okay. Okay.
I just move it. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Like I don't know if you use a mouse or stylus, but it's the stylus. I'm just moving it left and right. Up and down doesn't do anything. It's just the left and right.
Okay.
And I think that's okay. All right, so let's see here. Let's go ahead and make the shape for the hair. No, you know what? We're going to do this other ear. You see here?
Mm-hmm.
And the way we're going to do that is I'm going to come to my select shape tool. Actually, no. I'm going to come to this one here. Select points. All right. Click and click. If you click on the line, it's going to select the whole shape. Right? So, like, I'm going to click on this line here. Now I'm going to do the same thing for this. Bam. Right? And then I'm going to do my basic Control C for copy and Control V for paste. And then I'm going to flip it. And the way you flip that shape is right up here. You can flip it horizontally or vertically. Bam, right? Then I'm going to take the Transform Points tool, move it over. All right, and with this, I'm going to scale. So this little circle, if you hold in a circle, you can do your scale, right?
Okay.
And this, and this, and this, all in those little circles. Now, the neat thing is if you hold outside the circle, but inside here, not out here, but in here, you can rotate. Okay? Now, as you see, I don't have that other shape selected. So let's fix that. There. Now,
And are you just hitting shift?
yeah,
Well,
just shift. So now I'm going to bring that down. Okay, and I think right there is okay. Let's bring that like that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to want to do, come to my select shape tool, select that shape, and that shape. And if I hit the down arrow, and I might have to hit it a few times, moves it down below the shapes I want it to move, or the shapes I want it below. So that's kind of like select a shape, hit the down arrow. If it was a layer, you'd be moving it down the layers, right? I mean, you don't do that on this, but it's on the same layer, different shapes on the same layer. It's still be moved.
hold on a second, buddy. Okay. Sorry.
All right, and I'm looking at my drawing here. I like the squareness of this ear. I'm going to adjust this a little bit. I'm not going to worry about this one because it's hidden right now. If at any point we actually see more than that, I'll adjust it at that point. But go back up to my Transform Points tool. Bring this out a little bit. And when I move this, it's actually adjusting the curvature also. So I may have to go through and adjust that. But the more I see that curve right there, I don't like that curve. Let's see, and bring that in. And I actually think that will work.
The Awesome on YouTube says hi. Hi, Awesome.
The Awesome?
The Awesome with a
What is
little cute, a cool face emoji thing done in letters.
Is that self-proclaimed? The Awesome?
Don't
How you doing, The Awesome? I'm seeing a lot of names I don't recognize.
Yeah, it's the word is getting out. These I've been watching an increase on the viewership
Mm-hmm.
of the streams,
Yeah.
both on the live and definitely on the replays. So I think folks like this.
Good. Good. All right. So now, what do we want to do now? Let's knock out this nose. Now this nose, even though it's blue and is on its own, I mean, and it looks, just a line, right? I'm going to make it a shape because I know I'm going to want to adjust the head so it looks like he's turning a little bit, and this nose may peek out over here. All right, so we're gonna work with that. Let's see here. We're going to do. I think I'm just going to draw it. Just draw it.
Freehand tool. Hit the letter F.
Yep. Okay, so now that should have escape. Let's see here. One second here. Let me make sure I'm on multi-stroke autofill. Okay. Just want to make sure it's got my fill on in there. Okay, and that one is just going to be a stroke right there. Okay, there's my nose. So let's
And you want to fill it because it's going to be on top.
yeah, because I'm going to want to see how this is connected here. That's
Right.
telling me it's filled. So what I'm going to want to do if when he turns his head, I'm going to set it up to where um, his nose comes out, right?
Right.
Let's get that line back up. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go through and too many points. Even though I like the shape, I can adjust it. So I'm going to
Take those points out with the transform tool.
with the transform tool. Delete. Don't need that one. Delete. And I can probably move that up there. And you know what? I wonder, can I connect that? I can. All right. Okay. So I just connected this line to this shape. So it's all one shape now, I believe. I don't know. It's connected. But I don't need that line. Okay. Now I can go through and play with my curves. I got that. Go to my curves. And then get it back in here. So I'm going to be going back. The shortcut keys are T for transform point and C for curvature, right? So I'm going to move all my points to where I want them. There, and then probably there, and then adjust my curvatures.
Until you're happy with it. Your name products on YouTube says hello from Oak Harbor, Washington.
Oh, how you doing? Oh. Okay, adjusting line widths. You know what? So I like the under the nose always to be a little darker, right? And instead of doing that with shading, well, I will be doing it with shading, but what I want to do right now is I want this area here to be a little thicker. So I am going to add another point just by hitting A and clicking. Okay, still have to adjust my curvature. And let's do this. Get my Bezier points out. Oh, I don't like that. Control Z. And I'm going to just adjust this one and then bring this down a little bit. And adjust the curves like this. Here. There. And I can get the squarish look that I like anyway. Now that I got this point, I can adjust the width on that. Just like that. There. It wasn't, not much of a big difference, but enough for me to want to put that point. And I do need, I'm going to take this point I probably shouldn't have connected it. Oh, I can move it on the line there. Okay, that's good. See? Yeah.
As you learn with us. Your name product says this is awesome to learn. Thank you.
Well, I'm still learning too. I don't know if you heard, but this is still a new software for me. Um, so we all learn together. Sometimes that's the best way.
Well, it helps a lot more now that I've watched you do this.
Hmm.
I'm not as intimidated to start.
Oh, just wait.
I was like, okay, how do I even start? Because all I'm thinking is, like Illustrator, I'm going to just be clicking points, all around.
No, you
But
just
you
draw.
start with that shape, and it just gives you the foundation, and then you just kind of.
I mean, even look. Let me do this. Open recent. Let's get Whiskey Jack back up here. So if you see this, it looks like I just penciled this in. This is like a pencil done on something else, right? This was done in this. This was all drawn in MoHo right here, and I'm just using this as like my sketch to work out how I want my shapes on the arms and everything, right? And because I drew him like this, and this, as far
Right.
as animation goes, this style, I needed to cut. This would have. I mean, look at. Can you think of how many points would be all in this, and have to work it out? So I wanted to simplify. If I can simplify something, I mean that's what I'm going to do to save time. So that's. I mean, this was just sketched in, and then I will go over with the same process: lower the opacity, do my create the shapes and stuff like that. So
That's wow. That's definitely a lot more. I'm glad we're starting with just the head of this guy first before we
yeah.
get into that.
And before
Eating
I go,
chips.
before I go any further, I'm looking up here at my titles. Whiskey Jack Rig Untitled. It's telling me, hey, I need to save.
Oh yeah. Eating chips says, "Hey guys, it's Eric. I changed my username."
Eating chips. Eating with
So
an E.
Eric with an E. What's
No,
up,
eating with
Eric
an
with an E?
E.
Also known as
Eating,
eating chips.
eating with an E.
Eating with an E.
Okay, lesson and
Like, I'm,
grinds.
I'm going undercover. I'm going to be called eating chips. No one will know, except for first thing I'm going to do is tell everybody.
All right, now let's do what I want to do now. We're gonna knock out these eyeballs because for him, his eyes are just little ovals. I don't have anything other for his eyes, which makes it easy. And it's just going to be, I know it's just going to be 4 points. So, but the question is, do I want it with this texture or do I want it a smooth shape? And let's figure it out. Let's start with just autofill first. Okay. Oh, it's gonna, no, don't do that because I need to change my color to black. All right.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
It looks gray, kind of brownish because I've got it at a lower opacity, remember, so I can see through
Oh,
my.
right. So all this gray that we see is actually going to be black
Yeah,
when
look.
you
So
up
I'll bring
the
it back up to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bring it back down to 50. So you see, one thing I want to do is the angle of this eye. I want to adjust that angle. So let's get in here, adjust it about like that, probably. Let's see. Yeah, because his head's tilted slightly. All right. So as far as the shape, that's it for the eye. Okay. Now, Jason, you tell me, do we want a smooth eyeball
Yes.
or do we
Yes.
want do we want
Smooth.
to stroke it? What do you think?
I like it.
That's
Let me see the smooth again.
okay. Let's see here. Now I can if I add the stroke back onto it and then bring it down. Let's do this. Oop, let me get that back. And then do that and bring down the size a little bit. And let's bring that in a little bit. Okay. What do you think? I almost like it with the texture on it.
Yeah, it's. I guess we're gonna have. You're gonna be consistent with all the characters,
No,
or will it matter?
it's not going to matter. I mean, this is a small detail. Probably shouldn't even be focusing on, but I'm going to do that anyway. And while I'm doing that, okay, that way we can diminish some of this monotonous boredom. Okay, let's do this. We got that eye is done, right?
We gotta vote for this, not the smooth one. Yeah, I think that's where we're leaning towards, not the smooth.
Okay. All right. So as I did with the ear, I'm going to select the whole shape, Control C, Control V, and I'm just going to move it over. And because it's further away, I'm just going to bring it down slightly in size, not much. All right. Now, let's see here. Escape. Make sure these lines are kind of on the same. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys real quick, just so I can knock this out. Um, I am going to animate the blink. All right. So we can see how it looks. So right now, in order to animate something, it needs bones. And in order to make the bones, I need a bones layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm going to come up here, do bone, and then I'm going to put Grimes because it's Hudson Grimes, and I'm going to move that head layer into that bone layer. Right now, these eyes, they don't. I mean, it's not like a bone for a skeleton for the eyes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a smart action. I believe that's what it's called. Okay, and I'm going to come up. I'm going to click on the bones layer. Then I'm gonna come up here.
Where's that bones layer?
Bones layer is right here. I just made it. I went into, you know how I make a new vector? Come up here, hit vector. Instead of going to vector, just hit bone.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, and so what
okay,
this is like a folder, you know, a group.
right.
I move everything up into that. That's going to be animated, right? So that's going to have bones. So that's that. Now over on the left side, you see this bone with a plus on it, right? So I'm going to hit that, holding my shift key down so that it's straight. I'm just going to pull up, all right? And there's my bone right there. I'm going to title it up here, blink, all right? All right, so now whenever you create a bone, every bone has what's called bone strength, and it's going to affect everything that's in this little oval here, right? But we don't want that to happen because if I move this, it's probably going to move this whole shape. It's going to if it was inside the oval, it'd move it a lot more, but it's still going to affect whatever's here. So I don't want that. So I'm going to click on that on this over here, and then I'm just going to drag, bring it all the way down because I don't want it to affect the layer. I want to animate the points. Okay, so come up to my select bone, make sure that's red. When the bone is red, it's selected. All right, I've labeled it blink. Over here across the top, it says show label. That way it's labeled here blink. All right, and then I'm going to come up over to bone constraints right up here and hit angle constraints. You can keep these constraints here. I usually do a minus 90 and a 90. Lay it flat. Depends on what I'm doing. All
So
right.
like right angles.
Right. All right. So now that I have that, it's labeled, I got my constraints, I can select that bone again.
Okay.
Okay. Then I'm going to come up into actions, and I'm going to hit this right here. Actions right up here. Right under powered by
Yeah, right where you can't see it. Gotcha.
All right. So I want to hit this button under the W and create new.
Okay, that's the action. Okay.
Creating a new action. And if I'm on the proper bone, it's going to have the bone name blink. I'm going to hit OK. And it puts it right into this action section, right?
Okay.
And my timeline lit up. Okay.
Oh, now the timeline, it automatically appears.
Yeah. It was down there. It just lit up,
Oh,
right? So I'm gonna change this to 96, 96 frames. That gives you 4 seconds if you're working 24 frames a second.
I'm glad you said that. I watch a lot of these animation or uh, video editing things, and they never explain about the frames and how long it takes and all that. They just
Generally, animating is 24 frames per second. That means 24 drawings for every second. If working traditionally, you're doing 24 drawings for every second, or that's working on ones. If you're working on twos, which is holding a frame for for holding that image for 2 frames, you're cutting your work in half, and it's not going to be as noticeable. So that would be 12 drawings per second. But for this, I mean, working with puppet animation, I mean, yeah, it's nice to keep that in mind. But for this purpose, it's not really necessary. So what I did is this is this is a starting point. Okay. Now you know what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna make. Let's see what I'm gonna do. How do I want to do this? Okay, so come up here to my transform bone tool, and I'm just gonna click on it. Okay, and that puts that that center. It's centered right at 2 seconds, right? And the blink's not going to take 2 seconds. It's just,
It's a long blink.
right. This is just how I'm getting my movement.
Okay.
Okay. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a blink, and then I might add like a wide eye. Okay. And so I think, where do I want? Okay. That's that. So over here, I'm going to rotate this. So now that's put a keyframe right over at basically my first frame.
Gotcha.
So here, if I'm doing this correctly, when all said and done, I mean, he should still have his eyes open. And if not, we'll adjust. Okay, so there's that. Over here, I'm going to move this to here. All right. So now I have to decide where I want my blink. I think I'm just going to keep the blink right at the the 96 frame mark, right? All right, so now I'm going to go in here. And this blink is going to be so easy because these ovals only have 4 points, right? Okay, so now I'm done with the bone. Now I just go back into my face background, my face BG layer, and these 2 points right here and here. Actually, that eye looks a little off. I want to adjust this slightly, right about there. Okay, so the points on the outer edges are not going to be animated. I am going to animate this point and this point, and they're both going to come down to the center. So all I have to do, where my my cursor is down here, I can't remember what it's called right here, but it's at this key frame right here. I'm going to take this point, move it in. I'm going to take this point and move it in, right? Same here. Move this in and move this in. Now, let's make some adjustments here. Make sure. Oh, you know what I didn't do? 1 second. Okay. So because I'm animating points, if I would have done that, it would have animated from 0 to 4 on that. But the center point is where I want these. So I'm going to hit Control F. No, wait. Let's do this. Let's see here.
You want the blink at the 2 second mark.
No, I want the blink at the 4 second. At 2 second,
Oh.
I want it open, right? So there and there, and Control F. So Control F is kind of like freezing those points, right? And it puts it right here. Now, if I come here, I can go ahead and move these. Grab my transform tool here, close it down. Now, actually, you know what? As he blinks, I want these to come out further. Okay? It might look funny, but now the eye looks. I almost like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the line width on that, on each end there. Okay. And then I'm actually going to bring them out a little further. So let's see how that looks. I'm okay with that as a blink. What do you think?
I think it looks great.
Yeah.
So my question is,
Actually, you know what? Let's see here.
now why? So at the
What?
2-second mark,
Yeah.
it's wide
Why,
open.
why am I not starting it at 1?
Yes.
Because on this side, I want it to do something else.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see that in a second. Let me just
Okay.
get this.
Well, I didn't know. I'm just trying to understand this. I didn't know you had plans.
I do have plans. I have plans. All right. So let's see here. Let's adjust some of the widths. I want it to be. I want this to come. So it looks like I might have to bring this
And
out some.
I think this blink is probably when you finish this part. This will probably be the last for the video.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see here. I'm okay with that for now. Now I'm gonna come over here. Nope. I think I may have done some animation between here and here.
It looks like a little bit.
So let's see here. All right. So, well, whatever the case, I am going to do this and here and there. Picture that. Okay. Little shock there or whatever. There and there. Let's move that centered. And let's see how that looks. Okay. All right. So all this is recorded now. All this movement. I might end up changing that, but let's just see how. Now that that's done, we can come back into our main line. Double click that, so we know we're out of there. I'm gonna go back into style. Okay. But this is escape. Now let's do. Come up into our bone layer here, and this here is your manipulate bone tool. So now, if I've done it correctly, we get a blink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can get a maybe I'll do that larger because when he sees the dame, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, when this comes down,
It'll
I
give you
might
more play too. If you need more
right.
eyeball open.
Yeah. So for dramatic purposes, when his eyes go wide, I'm gonna have a white reflection, light reflection show up, right? So which means I'll have two white circles in there that are probably shrunk down to like nothing, and then when I move this over, they'll actually grow with the eyes. We'll either do it that way or do something with opacity. But I think just having it grow would be better because your light reflection the opacity doesn't really change. Blink, blink. There we go.
There he is. He's blinking.
I like that weird shape of the blink though, so I'm okay with that.
All right, I'm gonna bring your screen down a little bit here now.
One last thing that I didn't mention. Right now, I am during the creating process. You have to be on frame 0. All right. If I'm over, say on.
Well, let me get you back up here.
No, it's okay. If I'm over on frame 24 and I'm working on this, then everything I'm doing here will actually animate from frame 1 to frame 24.
Right.
So any editing I need to do needs to be on frame 0, and you can toggle back to frame 0 by hitting that. And if I hit it again, it's going to go back. The cursor is going to go back to where on the timeline to where it was. So
okay.
animating, and you notice something, you need to make an adjustment. Hit this thing, make your adjustment, hit it back, and you're back, and your adjustment's made. Right.
Very cool.
All right. So I think that's about time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I gotta tell you, that was a lot easier. I know you said it was easier, but I was like, okay, I don't know. I'm
It's
not good with vector.
looking at what it can do and thinking, okay, I don't know that how they do that. It gets overwhelming. But when you get
Mhm.
down to it, just thinking the basics, okay, I'm just moving this point from here to here, and I'm going to record that action on the timeline, right?
Right. And now you have everything's all separated, just like you said. It's like folders, and you're creating different bones for each piece, and so everything. So wow.
Well,
Um,
you're not creating a bone for each piece, but you're assigning certain things to bones. You're assigning points to bones, which we'll
well,
get into
yeah. Sorry,
later.
that's what I meant, but. So this was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Didn't even have to do much of anything except for watch the chat.
Do we have any questions that we didn't get to?
Yeah, let's see. We got eating E, um, your name
Eating
products, digital plane, the head ninja. If anybody's got any, we got 8 viewers watching right now. So if anybody's got any questions, the awesome, any questions, Itchy, go ahead and put it in the comments. Looks like we've got one. Oh, no. He's saying hello, eating chips. Uh, but
now,
just so that people know, if you're working on your own and you can't make these live shows, and this is probably talking to a lot of people that watch the replays, we do have a Patreon, link in the description below. There is a tier now that me and Benny are going to open up, basically have a private Zoom meeting with anybody on that tier each week. So if you're working on a project and need some one-on-one time talking to Benny, or want to talk to me or whatever, we'll both be on that Zoom meeting. But it's a way for you to just have some one-on-one helping you with your project, or if you have questions on animating, um, that's a way to do it. So we thought we would start that out and see if anyone was interested. So you can check that out below. Benny, do you have anything to plug?
nothing to plug. I do have another comment. Next week, I'm probably not going to be working on the face on the Grimes character at all this week. I might work. No, I'll work on some other characters. But yeah, we're gonna pick up straight from here next week because the face and the head is probably the most in depth, and because I'm going to be doing a slight head turn, working with his fedora, that's gonna be challenging. So we'll all be learning something on that one.
Awesome. Your name product says this was good. It was a start. I've had it for a few years, but don't use it. I will start again after this stream. Thanks. So
Now, if you've had it for a few years, Your Name Products LLC, you probably don't have MoHo 14. If you do, great. But if you don't, MoHo 14 has a lot more, has been updated so much more. And there are things that we'll be doing that MoHo 14 allows us to do that the older versions do not.
and again, I am leaving the links to get MoHo in the description, along with Storyboarder for the people that need to get the Storyboarder software.
Clip Studio
Um,
Paint,
Clip Studio Paint, we'll add that to the list too, even though we don't really work in it.
you don't work in it because you don't have it.
Well, I mean, you're not working in it.
Yeah, but any drawings I did the yeah I did
Did you?
when we were creating Grimes and all the others that was done in Clip Studio Paint.
Okay, okay. You got it. I will add the link for Clip Studio Paint and for Photoshop.
I don't know why
And
it wasn't on there in the beginning.
hey, I'm not getting any of that revenue money you're getting for that.
I get no revenue money for it,
I
unfortunately.
know, I'm just messing. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us again. We will see you guys again next week for another animation process, but we also will be here Friday at 4 p.m. PST
Well,
for live live draw Friday.
I'm hoping Fridays are iffy for me, but I think I can make it this Friday.
I'm hoping you can too, man. I'm actually I'm not really sure what we're drawing yet. So,
Shall we do something from New Perk?
there you go. We could do that. Yeah, I'm down with that.
We'll discuss.
Yeah, we'll discuss. So you guys, see you guys at the next one. Thank you for joining us. Peace.
See you later.
And make sure to check out the Patreon.
Just want to thank everybody for watching it all the way to this point. If you can, like, share, subscribe, comment below. All right, guys.